Welcome everyone to OnPodcast, a Microsoft podcast where we talk about Microsoft stuff on a podcast, per usual. I am your co-host today, Kareem Anderson. I'm joined by the world's greatest co-host,
Arif Bacchus.
and we have a walloping heap of Microsoft news. I know I say that every week. It just seems like we keep piling on. When we think we're done, there's just more news. So let's get started talking about our leaked information about Windows 11 features coming up soon.
Yeah,
We'll be
there were
talking about
leaks. There were leaks
yeah.
like all across the web from like all different accounts relating to stuff that is coming in Windows 11. Just a week after they said, "Hey, maybe more technical Windows insiders might find some stuff." Well, those technical Windows insiders did find some stuff, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, and then we have Microsoft Defender Preview app on Windows 11, and I believe on iOS and
And
Android.
Android. Yep.
Yeah, and we'll talk about what that is and what that means for the future. We'll also be talking about Windows 11 features that are testing in beta, so confirmed features, not leaked features that actual people will be using and not just talking about.
And then we have our fast recap because we can't fit all the news in three main segments because it was a crazy busy week and there's tons of stories to get through in fast recap. First of which is Microsoft trying to steal away Google's G Suite legacy free tier customers with a very interesting deal on 12 months of Microsoft 365.
Yeah, and then we'll be talking about OneNote for the web, getting a ton of new features, and what that might mean for an eventual unification of OneNote altogether.
And then also new Your Phone feature coming to Windows 10 and Windows 11 users and Windows insiders.
We'll be talking about Microsoft's App Store principles and how that plays into the Activision acquisition.
And also Call of Duty staying on PlayStation.
And if that wasn't enough, we got a ton of stuff even for the week ahead, and we haven't even begun to see what the week's going to shape out to be like. But we have Microsoft. I think they have a security event on the 24th.
Yep.
We have an
And then
Inspire event coming up in July 12th through the 13th.
yep. And there's also been some talk today about a possible new Surface laptop or Surface Pro X with Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3 chips.
And then Microsoft is also in talks. I mean, they're apparently their purse is just pouring open. They got money burning a hole in their pocket to buy cybersecurity firm Mandiant. I think it's, I don't know, I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly. But this is a report according to Bloomberg. So, with that being said, let's jump into the news.
Yeah, the first big story is what everyone came here for is leaked upcoming Windows 11 features. Now, this came from a series of different accounts, and as we said at the top of the show, Microsoft hinted at some stuff coming through to the Windows Insider program this year, and they mentioned that more experienced Windows insiders might find a couple of features here and there that are purposely disabled because they would only talk about new features when they're ready to talk about it. But don't tell that to Albacore, who's also known as Book is Closed on Twitter, because he just uncovered a ton of features that Microsoft are working on for Windows 11. And the first one of those is a stickers feature for your desktop wallpaper. Now, I'm not sure what this is. Maybe you can explain it a little bit more, but apparently you can now put stickers on your desktop wallpaper.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. I believe Mary Jo Foley and Paul Thurrott, even Brad Sands, I think we're all kind of wondering what this could be. I mean, we do have a sticky notes feature and we do have icons. So I don't know how this works as far as what it will visually look like on the desktop, but we'll see. Maybe these are akin to the 3D emoji kind of thing. Maybe this is something that you can pin to your desk taskbar or your desktop, and it's interactive, so to speak. You can maybe hover over it and give you an animation or something. I don't know, but it seems to be, rumor worthy. So we'll find out hopefully soon, the next couple of weeks.
And his second feature, he wasn't done with one because he has more. It's the revelation of a new eco score thing coming to Windows 11 settings, and then also a sustainability page in system settings, which will give you tips on how to recycle your device if you want to throw it away, and a little like leaf glyphs that show you how energy efficient your system is. And then also, he uncovered some changes to notifications where you'll see a change in name for Focus Assist being switched over over to just quote unquote focus, and also some better visibility options for your notification priorities.
Yeah, and then finally we have the reappearance of some old tablet setting
Yep.
mode or gestures and the modes coming in. I mean, this is kind of
That's
big
what
for
you
everybody.
talked about a couple of weeks
Yeah,
ago. You're like, they need to put more stuff in for tablet users, and now, hey, they're delivering.
yeah, this is interesting. Like, yeah, I think the new part of the mention of the new gesture feature is that you'll be able to do a swipe up from the taskbar area from the bottom of your screen to get to quick settings. So this again, this gives more people accessibility. So if you can't use a keyboard, have to use the touch screen, this is another way to navigate the operating system. Again, these are rumors. We'll see. Of course, pretty good at like finding this stuff, but we don't know if and when this will come to pass. But that was one thing. I think there's also new windowing options that will be coming in, and I know that they have them for keyboard and mouse options. But we're going to be getting a new set of possible ways to window things. But there's also mention that you'll be able to do it in gesture form as well. So that's some other things. I'll let you talk about taskbar as well because it seems
This
like
is
it's
this
getting
one
some
is
fixes.
yeah, this one is exciting for people who are familiar with Windows 10, where it gives you that little up and down arrow that lets you switch between open apps when you fill up your taskbar, and that's missing in Windows 11, along with a long list of other things that people have complained about. But Albacore, separate from what we talked about earlier, this came a couple days after, but he discovered that they're bringing back that taskbar overflow menu where it'll be like a little ellipsis in the taskbar, and then you click it, and then you'll be able to choose your different apps that are open, because right now it only show just one app in that overflow menu. So it's kind of like a big significant improvement for multitasking.
Yeah, definitely. I think I wrote about this as well. Is
Yeah.
that, like you said, being able to access those things strictly from the taskbar, can help speed up productivity. So it was kind of a stumbling block for some of us who do fill up the taskbar. Not many, but who do fill it up and get to that end, and you have to kind of dig through to find out where your open apps are. This will be another way to kind of navigate that and bring some more functionality back to the taskbar. The other thing that's going to be coming into play for the taskbar, rumored, is drag and drop. I think we've all been kind of wanting that for those of us who are power users. I didn't even know you could do it, but other people did, and they've been asking for it, begging for it, and this should be coming back pretty soon. And I'll let you last to talk about Task Manager.
Yeah, this is from a separate Twitter account. This is from Firecube Studios, and he posted a screenshot of a tweaked task manager app, which I think we talked about a couple weeks ago. But he discovered now in one of the new builds. I think it was build 22543, where there's a new home tab that also shows you your app health and your battery health, and as well as your overall system links to see your overall system performance and your startup app. So basically, Microsoft is centralizing some of the features that you usually would have to go digging for in the Windows settings under this one hub in the main screen of the Task Manager. And again, it's rumored and it's been disabled because Microsoft is not ready to test it yet. But Firecube Studios, enabled it, and he says it's currently broken, and he did some tweaking to try and get it working, but looks like something that they'll be considering testing soon. And speaking of testing soon, it was just today on Friday that Zach Bowden, he put out a huge expose on what's coming ahead in the Windows Insider program, and I know you had some thoughts on what's coming up next.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of what we talked about, and my thoughts are basically, I know that he got a response from certain people who work at Microsoft who were just pleased with him kind of breaking the news. And to that, I say that these are features. This is insider testing. Like, I don't unless you're going to be giving people a big gift or birthday cake or a surprise with it. This isn't like something that we need to celebrate and keep hidden, keep secretive. This reminds me of the Sanofsky days where everything was tight-lipped and hidden around as like some sort of big surprise. But we're going to be testing this, so just give it to us and let us start testing it. For all the normal people, are like family members and other people who teachers and things like that don't have time to do it. This will be a big surprise for them, and it'll be a huge surprise in October. But for us, just release the features and let us get testing, let us give you the feedback so that it speeds up the process. Don't try and like, I know you want to wait till they're done, which is a good way to go, but I'm sure they're still going to need a lot of work even when you release it. So let's just get to work on it. So I thought it was a lot to do about nothing about his expose. Not that he shouldn't have written it. It's just, again, we overall these are a lot of tweaks and refinements to the operating system. Nothing mind blowing just yet. So again, when we get to tablet mode and it has a ton of new features, then we can start talking about, oh, maybe Microsoft should be making better tablets, and maybe we should have that discussion. But right now, we're just saying like, oh, Windows 11 will look a little nicer and have a few more accessibility features. That's about it.
And again, he insisted that this was because of the 2 week. I think we talked about it for the last 2 weeks. There weren't any new dev channel builds, but the
Yeah.
reason why is because they went back to the drawing board and they're adding these new features. And again, we talked about a lot of this already, but just as a quick recap for you people who are just joining us or missed it out, some of the things he's talking about is the ability to create app folders in the start menu. That's one thing that's coming. Support for file dragging and dropping on the taskbar. That's another thing that's coming. New blur effects. That's a third thing that's coming in these dev channel builds. And you hinted at this. It's the snap bar feature, which apparently will pair up with Snap Assist for new ways to do multitasking, and the ability to drag up from the bottom of the screen to get into your quick settings or the task menu. I guess that's kind of like was in Windows 10X at one point. Now that's five features that we just got to, but we're not done yet. He also says that Microsoft is looking to bring the acrylic and the blur effects to legacy title bars. So basically, think about system apps like the run prompt or the win or these control panel and those sorts of things. And again, a lot of this is stuff that we've been expecting and we've hoped that they would do. And it's pretty much them cleaning up Windows 11 and making it look a lot more consistent, which is what people complained when it first came out.
Yeah, totally. Like I said, I totally agree. I'm glad that we're hopefully getting these things, and to the point of updating the old dialog boxes and prompts in Windows with the acrylic and things like that. I hope that they also take this time to kind of reimagine some of those prompts, like your read and write files. The prompt that comes up for that, the dialog box for that, could be reimagined, could be redesigned to show you, better information about your read and write speeds and things like that. The other thing I would hope that they kind of get into is the File Explorer. I know that there's supposed to be some new redesign for the File Explorer that's introducing a home section.
Yeah.
So I know that it's really tough to kind of go back over 35 years of a utility app and fix break things and fix it. But let's just again, they added spacing. Let's add some different icons. Let's make it more inviting to use than the utility that it necessarily is right now.
And that does it for that. But we're still not done with Windows 11 because there was a new Microsoft Defender preview app that you could now download on Windows 11. I know you had a chance to try it out. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, it is a information app so far.
Yeah.
There's no real actions you can take on it. What it does is it kind of links all your devices together, gives you a hub. Essentially, it's a cool hub. Visually speaking, it's really nice, but it's a hub that allows you to, I think, add two phones and up to five PCs or something like that. So what you can do basically is you can go into iOS store, you can go into the Android the Google Play Store, you can go into Windows or the Microsoft Store, Windows 11, and get this app and register all your devices on it. It'll run a quick scan for certain things, and it'll do it based on the operating system that it's working on. So if you're running a scan on Android, obviously you'll need to give permissions, but it'll like see if there's any malicious apps or anything kind of doing things that it shouldn't be doing. For Windows 11, it'll kind of mimic the same thing that you already have kind of Windows Defender on there. What it does is mimic that, but again, like I said, it consolidates all your devices. So in Windows Defender, it only checks your PC, at least the one that's built into Windows. With this new app, you can also see what's happening on your device on your computer screen. So if your phone is not near you, or if your family's phone, if you have a wife or a partner's phone, or your family's phone registered on there, you can see if anything's happening on their phone as well. I do know that right now it's free to test, but based on some information that I guess the people over Windows Weekly were talking about, this could eventually become a paid subscription kind of thing. So test it out for free while you can. Try it out, and I think you're going to need subscriptions to Microsoft 365, which I think also includes people who have Office 365 as well, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have one of those two things, you may already be eligible to keep using this and not have to pay more. But if you're not, you will eventually probably have to pay a monthly subscription in order to use it. So this could be setting up that cloud connected network of features, like you were saying, as far as going cross-platform and accessibility. Because again, Windows Defender is only on Windows, but this device crosses platforms,
And
or
that
this
brings us
setting.
And that brings us to our third topic. We just talked about rumored Windows 11 features to start, but now we're on actual confirmed and actual features that you will be able to test. So now, if you are a release preview Windows Insider or a beta channel Windows Insider, you're getting some features that Microsoft talked about a couple months ago and promised would be coming to all Windows 11 users this month. And that feature is the weather in the taskbar, seeing the date and time on multiple monitors, and also sharing open application windows directly from your taskbar to a Microsoft Teams call. So three big Windows 11 features are now in testing in Windows Insider beta and release preview channels. So if you're excited for that, go ahead and opt your device into either one of those channels, which are two of the more stable channels in the Windows Insider program.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more else to say to that one.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So yeah, if you're oh, and I think you're gonna have one chance this summer coming up
To
to
switch.
switch channels. So keep that in mind if you are testing some of these features and you either do like the pace or you want to sweep the pace, because Windows dev channels will soon be getting all of that stuff we talked about 15 minutes ago. So just be prepared to switch channels and in order to go up or down that scale.
And they did bring a Windows 10 feature to Windows 11 with this release preview and beta channel build. It's called the Windows Hello for Business Cloud Trust. You guys can Google it to figure out what it is, but basically it's just a security feature for FIDO-Ts and SSOs and those kinds of business features that Windows 10 users were enjoying with the Windows 10 21H2 update. It's now also made its way to Windows 11 with this release.
Well, I think they want to speed up enterprise adoption, so you're gonna need to start bringing all of those security features over pretty quickly.
So speed up. Now it's time for a fast recap.
Okay, put some time on the clock and let's see if we can get through this stuff. I'll let you jump on the first one.
Yeah,
You have some
Microsoft.
thoughts about it.
This is something that I wrote about when I saw it. I thought Microsoft was being kind of petty and being like, "Hey Google, your stuff sucks now. Come to us because we were offering you it at a massive 60% discount." But you guys might remember it was a couple months ago, last month, that Google announced that it would be shutting down its G Suite Legacy Free Edition, and that users would need to upgrade to a paid Google Workspace to continue using those things. What's included in the GC Legacy is usually like custom domains. We have one here on Microsoft. It used to be called WinBeta, and we are still using our WinBeta email for some things. But anyway, Microsoft has a reaction to Google shutting that down, and they put out this letter basically to Google users who are now left without options. It says they have a 60% offer for 60% off offer on Microsoft 365 Business Basic, Business Standard, or Business Premium. And in the blog post, Jared Spataro, who is the CVP for Microsoft 365, he basically got into all the benefits and how you get free access to Teams and you get free support. And he even told people about how easy it is to switch. And he gave a website where you could go to and talk with Microsoft and get yourself ready for making the switch from Google products over to Microsoft products.
Yeah, I mean it seems like a win for those people who are left wondering for a low cost alternative. Small businesses are
Yep.
probably going to look into this. I know Microsoft's sales team has increased. They've reorged that. And so this definitely helped them having this kind of discount for a year. I don't know what it goes up to after the year. So that'll be the catch, the worm on the hook for everyone to kind of read the fine print. But good on them.
And why don't you get into OneNote for Web? I know you always use it, and it now is getting a whole bunch of features.
Yeah, OneNote for Web got a ton of features. Now you have to keep in mind that this is for the web. So for those of you sitting there rolling your eyes as I read these off, this isn't for the desktop, which already had a lot of this. this is giving the web version parity, and we always want our web versions to have parity so we can start moving over to web versions versus dedicated apps. What we got is a new mode switcher. We got improved copy paste, which is rolling out, zoom in and zoom out features, which have support for touch enabled zooming. So if you're using your browser and you want to pinch and zoom, you can do that on your touch screen as well. We got setting the pictures in the background, which is kind of a feature that uses like another dialog prompt, which is being put into um, uh, the UI, which makes it easier to kind of pin these things. We're also getting the web version will remember the last page you left off on as you kind of shift back and forth
Yep.
between notes and pages, which has never been the case. You usually had to kind of go back or refresh the page, and it kind of just throws up your whole flow. The other thing we get is we're getting auto inking with stylus. So if you do have a pin supported device, as soon as you touch the screen with a pen, it switches over to the auto inking mode. You don't have to go in and find it and click it and select it, which is always, again, good to speed up anybody who wants to start using pen activity. There's resizing embedded web content for as like such as videos. This was a little hard to do via the web, but on the dedicated app, you can basically, if you put in a video like a YouTube video or your own embedded media, you could basically click and click one corner and resize the entire thing to kind of fit your note however way you want it to. You couldn't really do that on the web version, but now you can. So again, putting in parity. And then you have improved link sharing via Teams. So if Eric and I are in a chat and I sent him a link, I could, and say it's classified as his business. I can grant him permissions. I can also give him. He can also see a preview of it, and neither one of us have to leave the chat in order to do this. So this is pretty huge in that respect. Again, because it just helps speed up your interaction with the app. And these are all rolling out over the next 3 weeks, I think they said. So again, this is the web, so it takes a little time for it to kind of filter out to everything. So keep checking it if you are an avid OneNote web user, and let us know when all the features are there for you. Hopefully they'll be done by sometime in March. But keep in mind that if you don't see all of them, or if you don't see any of them yet, that they are rolling out, and this is going to make OneNote even better.
Not the only Microsoft that got updates. They also announced some updates for your phone. Well, a update for your phone, both on Windows 10 and Windows 11, by the way. And this was first teased by a Microsoft employee on Twitter. She had a little tweet with the feature and with a screenshot of the feature. And now they also mentioned it in a Microsoft Answers blog post. And what's the feature? I didn't talk about it, but the feature is being able to see your most recently used Android apps in your Windows 10 or Windows 11 taskbar. And basically, it's just a little sub extension of your phone a little bit. If you click on the your phone icon that's in the system tray, you'll then get this little pop-up window where you'll see your three most recently used and most recently open apps from your Android phone, and you could just click it and it would open it for you on Windows. But the bad news is that as cool as this is, it's something that will only work on Samsung phones. They specifically mentioned Samsung phones and a list of newer Samsung devices that have linked to Windows. And I think it was also I think their Samsung One UI version 3.1.1. So it's not a feature everyone will get to use, but if you have a Samsung phone, you're a Windows insider, you're going to get this new Android apps in the taskbar on your Windows PC.
Yeah, I'm going to try and go through this section pretty quickly. I feel like we're running out of time.
Yeah.
And this is actually a big one. So Microsoft released its new App Store principles, kind of a guide map to how they're going to be treating developers, how they're going to be treating customers, and how they're going to be engaging with users across the board. Again, not a ton of new policies, but just some things that they want to try to adhere to as a business and put them in writing so people know where Microsoft stands on certain things. This isn't going to be a nebulous like Apple situation where it's like, oh, we sort of want you to do this, but we quietly don't want you to do that. They're at least trying to put this out in writing. There's a ton of stuff. They go over quality, safety, security, and privacy. They want to make sure that everyone's held accountable. They want fairness and transparency. They want developer choice. Again, these are all buzzwords that every business wants to kind of do. We'll have to see, the proof is in the pudding. We'll see how they kind of adhere to all of this. The last few things I want to notice, some bullet points that they had about broader set of commitments that they've added on top of the ones that we talked about, I believe, last year when they started making the original store changes. They quote unquote will continue to enable developers to choose whether they want to deliver their apps for Windows through the App Store or from somewhere else, somebody else's store or sideloaded, by the way. We will continue to give developers timely access to all the tools they need. We will enable Windows users to use alternative app stores and third-party apps, including and by changing default settings in appropriate categories. They didn't say browser specifically, but everywhere else, they're trying to make sure that you're able to tweak and use things from the Windows Store or other stores on Windows itself. So if please check out the piece that was written by, let me check it right now, our editor in chief Kip. It's a very long list of stuff. We have some other news around that, so go to the website, read about the new principles.
And as part of that, they also announced that they're committed to keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation, which is the last little lug nut from that section there.
Yeah, that was actually pretty big as well. It was right at the end of the statement. This is going ahead of regulatory investigations into the deal. Both parties seem pretty confident that it's going to go through. Microsoft is basically saying that it will commit to the deals that were already signed by Sony, and that it also wants to continue servicing that platform beyond those deals. So I don't know if it means that Call of Duty would necessarily, after 3 to 5 years, however long the commitments are, will be exclusive, but they will allow other IP to go onto PlayStation devices, or if they'll just keep doing that one and maybe new IP will be locked to Xbox Game Pass and Xbox exclusives. But again, I wrote that one. You can head to the website and read more details on that too.
And that's it. Our fast recap is over, which means it's time for our other famous section, which is week ahead.
Yes, the week ahead, we have a Microsoft security event on the 24th. I don't know the details of this event. I know they've had a couple of security events before. I know that you added to the docket. So do you want to talk about what this might be?
Yeah, it's basically just a little event for IT admins and people who are in charge of cybersecurity at larger organization, and it's set for February 24th. And Microsoft's corporate vice president of security, compliance, and identity, and several other security experts are going to be talking about the event and the latest innovations that Microsoft has planned for its products and also other platforms and clouds to help cybersecurity. There's a whole bullet list of things that they're expected to talk about, and it's free to attend. You could sign in with a Microsoft account and get signed up and sit down and enjoy the stream on February 24th.
Yeah, speaking of events, Microsoft will also be hosting its Inspire event July 12th through the 13th. They just announced this. This event is basically about people submitting solutions that they've used or that Microsoft helped them use, and awards are given out. So basically, if your company's run on Surface devices, or if your company uses the hell out of OneNote, or if you guys use specific, if you guys use all kinds of different Microsoft securities or things like that, you can submit these things, and Microsoft will award people or award companies and businesses, and they like to take time to kind of tell everybody, hey, thanks for using our stuff, and we think you guys are the best example of our products. So that will be hosted the 12th to 13th. I believe it's also a digital event, if I'm not mistaken. It seems to be
Yeah, they
keeping with
confirmed that it's all digital. It's not physical. It's one of the first Microsoft events of the year, and it's basically confirming that they'll be doing what they've done for the last 2 years and stick to digital events rather than in-person events.
It's a 2-day digital event, which is
Yeah.
pretty interesting. So there's that as well.
And now
So I'll
the
let you
meat
talk about this one. This is the fun
the,
part.
this was the meat of the story. We weren't too sure on the authenticity of the report, which is why we didn't really write about it and why we saved it for the podcast. But it's looking as though the next ARM-powered Surface could finally be powerful because a series of leaked Geekbench listings for the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3 hinted at the performance potential of the next ARM-powered Surface device. We're not sure if it's a Surface laptop or a Surface Pro X, pretty much. But there was a code name listed in this Geekbench listing for the Qualcomm chip. It was, I think it's OEMVL, product name EV2. It was listed in the Geekbench listings with the new Qualcomm chip, and people believe that this could be a Microsoft device with a Qualcomm chip, but not sure if it's a laptop or a Pro X, but it's looking as though Microsoft could have a new device coming out soon with this Snapdragon 8CX Gen 3 power chip in it. And by the way, it's a very fast device because in that listing it kind of came on the same scoring as Intel's latest Core i7 U series processors, which run at 25 watts. So whatever Microsoft has up its sleeves here seems like it's going to be a pretty powerful Surface coming up here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I would like to see it used for a laptop, actually, surprisingly,
Yeah.
just because you get the screen real estate. So if they end up having a third option for configuration being Intel, AMD, or LTE with Qualcomm, I think those would be pretty amazing because I don't think at the moment that they have a Surface laptop that has any type of teleconnectivity, like
Yeah.
it doesn't have telephony on it, so you can't do any of that kind of stuff outside of it. So again, if they make Surface Laptop 5 with three configurations, one of them being LTE, but is the Qualcomm version of this, it'd be great. But we do run into the same issue of uh, Windows on ARM, so
Yeah.
they need to sort that out. But I mean, I guess the easiest place to put it in is in their Surface Pro X. People kind of already know what that is.
Right.
They can make it probably a thinner device, keep or maybe just keep it the same and just have more power behind it. The problem is you have all that power, but none of the apps that can make use of it because of the way
Hey,
they're
they've
written.
they've
So
they've made some gains with the emulation, the 64-bit app emulation. So there's a chance, and it seems like they were going hard on it because the I think the Surface Pro 8 is priced at $1,100, and the Surface Pro X with the SQ2 chip is priced a little bit cheaper at around 900 or $1,000. So they're trying to get bridge that gap a bit and get people to move towards the ARM-based version of Windows.
I mean, we've said it ad nauseum here that part of Apple's secret sauce was the transition layer, the read layer of everything, the Rosetta of their operating system. It helps keep the device super cool. You know, it's able to decompile a lot of the architecture there. If Microsoft can give us another leap ahead like they did in 2020, I think it was 2020 November or whatnot. If they can do another leap ahead where, that stuff just kind of works as it should, I think the Surface Pro X could be the device that people transition to. Just normal people, people that don't necessarily want a Chromebook, but do want something a little more powerful, and this could be the device for them.
And now that's over with. Let's get back to the boring stuff, which is Microsoft acquiring a cybersecurity firm.
Yeah, Microsoft's in talks to acquire a cybersecurity firm. Now, I think, what did we say? This is Mandiant. This is according to Bloomberg, the company Mandiant. Again, if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. It's not on purpose. But Mandiant's a cybersecurity research firm, research software and service firm. It was acquired by FireEye in 2013, but they were sold in 2021, leaving the company to focus on Mandiant Advantage and a subscription-based software as a service platform designed to augment and automate security response teams. Again, this is part of the mandate I think I wrote about last week about the Microsoft kind of taking this new Bill Gates 2.0 approach to security and moving it from making sure that just Windows is secure to making sure that everything across the board in their portfolio is secure. They've been kind of beat up about some malware stuff that's gone on. SolarWinds was an issue. The Exchange, I think last year, the Exchange got hit with a bunch of different things. So just adding more armor, basically, to Microsoft services is what they're trying to do with this acquisition. If it does go through, again, they're just talking right now, and we don't have any concrete details on any of that. But I think we said in this report that there's another report from VentureBeat that Mandy at the same time is talking about acquisition is talking acquisition. Microsoft is also partnering with one of Microsoft's chief rivals in the security incident response field, which is Sentinel-1. I don't know who Sentinel-1 is, and this is the first time I've heard about them, so I'll have to look into them and see how much of a competitor they are. But this could be, just some way to get the bidding up. I'm sure Bungie did something very similar before it got eventually bought by Sony. So, if they can get Microsoft to pay a little bit more power to them. But hopefully soon Microsoft will have more ways to deploy security for all of its different platforms.
And that said, I think that is the end of the show, unless you have any cool gadgets or anything that you're getting to review.
Yeah, I'm reviewing the. I don't even have the exact name for it. Like I said, I think it's the Legion 5i Tower. I mentioned it last week. I actually took it out of the box. It is huge. I mean, it's a tower, by the way. So it's pretty cool. It's got some LEDs. Keeps me up at night. It's got crazy fans. It's fun. But it only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it has crazy RTX graphics card in there as well. And like I said, once I'm done with this. We will be putting this up for a giveaway. So once my review, hopefully in the next week or two, comes out, we can run a contest, and maybe one of you people, one of you lucky fans, can get this and start running some games on it, start doing some graphic designing with it. Just start setting up your own work from home studio if you'd like go with this. That's
And
what I got going.
nothing here on my end just yet, but we have Mobile World Congress coming up in a few weeks, so we could expect some new products for review and also some news around that event.
Yeah. And before we leave, I know everyone's probably thinking we'll touch a little bit on the Samsung event because they did talk about Microsoft
Yeah.
and Samsung. One of the big things that was kind of key in this whole thing, if you weren't just looking at camera bumps and curved screens, is that Samsung is switching its storage solution to OneDrive.
Yeah.
OneDrive is becoming more of a native storage solution on the Samsung devices than it was prior to this. So that's a big deal, a huge deal for Microsoft to get everyone to start saving all their photos and videos into OneDrive versus what I forget what Samsung's solution was before this. So this just means that they're getting closer together, which could have implications for all the other rumor stuff we talk about, which is maybe the AR headset thing or if they want to start working together on a launcher or skin that helps with the Duo 2 or some other things like that. They have a lot to work together for. So if you're going to pick up an S22 anytime soon, get ready to start saving stuff in OneDrive. It's pretty awesome.
And you also be able to enjoy the new earphone thing that we talked about earlier.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, you'll be. It's actually more. It is more in line with. And I think second screen wasn't that the other thing
Yeah, they had
that
a an app on Windows that you could download and use your Tab S8 or S8, S8 Plus, or the gigantic 14-inch S8 Ultra for your second screen on a Windows PC.
Yeah, very similar to what Apple's been kind of showcasing with their update to iOS and Mac OS, which is they have that kind of native
Sidecar
just
thing. Yeah.
sidecar thing, which again, it's less mirroring a screen than actually sharing content between two different platforms. So, you have the SA, which runs on Android, and you have Windows that runs on uh, Windows. And so you'll be able to basically take content from like your OneNote, put it over into on your tablet. And so if you're a content creator and you need to quickly move files versus plugging in any because there aren't ports anymore on any devices, you can now just put the screen next to it and drag it over to Windows and start working on it, or vice versa if you need to get on the go. So again, this is just another way that we're seeing Microsoft and Samsung kind of work together to kind of blur that line between Android and Windows and just give more users to use more things.
And that said, it's the end of the show now, so I'll leave you for the traditional outro.
Yeah, I've rambled on long enough. You can find me at Mindhead1 if you want to hear any more ramblings. That's me on Twitter. Where can people find you?
A back journ.
Awesome. And if you want to read any more information about us, if you want to read any short headline tidbits, you can go on Microsoft on Twitter. Or if you want to read the full articles that we write, our opinion pieces, any other type of information about us, you can go onto our website. It's on Microsoft.com. And if you're a fan of gaming, you can go over to Pinterest and kind of see all the boards we have there. And there's also useful information. We update that at night with all kind of gaming news. We also have an Instagram where we're trying to build our following. So go there if you want to see some memes or if you want to see some screenshots and videos from this podcast as well. And I think that's all the places we're on, right?
Yep, I think you got them all.
Oh, and YouTube and Spotify as
Yep.
well if you
Yep.
want to listen or watch this. Thank
Yep.
you guys for joining us for another week. We will let you go and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Hopefully, you're watching us before the game.
Yes, have a good time.
All
Stay
right. See
safe.
you soon, everyone. Same place, same time.